So you hear us talking about these corruption charges against the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams. But here's the thing, and it's important. They have not actually been dropped yet. He's due in court tomorrow to go before the judge on his case who has the ultimate decision on whether to drop the charges. So that judge says he's seeking more information from the mayor's lawyers and the Justice Department on these allegations of a quid pro quo and the dropping of the charges in exchange for advancing President Trump's immigration agenda. It's a scandal here in New York, and it's already prompting multiple resignations inside of City Hall and inside of the Justice Department. Mayor's legal team writing to the judge, what we never said or suggested to anyone was that Mayor Adams would do X in exchange for Y, and no one said or suggested to us that they would do Y in exchange for X. We're prepared to confirm these points under oath in sworn declarations. Now, the judge, Dale Ho, ordering Adams to appear in court tomorrow, 2 p.m. Be prepared to address the reasons for the dismissal of the charges. If they are to be dismissed, the judge could either sign off on the government's decision to drop the case or decide maybe that the decision was inappropriate. If he rules the charges should stand, he could appoint a special prosecutor or clear the way for state or local prosecutors to take on the case. Here with us now, NewsNation legal contributor Jesse Weber, anchor at the Law and Crime Network, and good to see you, Jesse, as always. So is this just a technicality tomorrow, or could this judge actually say, no deal?
No, this is not a case where the judge is just going to rubber stamp anything that happens. Under the law, the judge, you have to, if you're going to dismiss an indictment, and if you're a prosecutor, you need leave of the court, you need the permission. And the judge can look at this and say, okay, I'm going to sign off on the dismissal. The judge could say, I'm actually going to conduct a searching inquiry. It's an investigation into how all this unfolded. Or the judge might flat out say, I am rejecting this dismissal, because there's actually precedent, there's case law to support this, that if a dismissal is not in the public's interest, and remember, the prosecutors here, they're representing the people. They're representing the public. Right. And in the interest of justice, if this is a case that shouldn't be dismissed, remember, and Emil Bove, the deputy AG, said, I'm not trying to move to dismiss this based on the merits of the case, based on the substance.
Yeah, they've been open about why they're doing it.
And that's a problem that he admitted it. Now, look, Eric Adams in this letter said there was no quid pro quo. I'll tell you, Connell, it's a very, very thin line. He admitted that there was a conversation about his job, whether or not this indictment was affecting his job, affecting his ability to enforce immigration laws. It's a thin line between he was basically
I always say
saying,
I'm no lawyer, but how could there not be? What is the definition of quid pro quo? How is this not that?
His perspective, look, I just told them the struggles I were going with, whereas the former U.S. attorney who resigned could say, you know what? It was pretty obvious what was going on here. It was pretty obvious that he was saying, hey, if this is off my back, I'll be your ally.
And the fact that they could still come back, everybody's been bringing that up, they could still bring the charges again the way it's set up now, right?
Correct.
So that's that's even, in my mind, or again, no lawyer, that's worse, isn't it, in some ways? Because then you're still set, you can hold it over his head.
100%. They want to dismiss this without prejudice, meaning they could refile it, which means they're hanging it over his head, right? Do what we want. Otherwise, these charges could come back. I think that's one fair interpretation, and I imagine that's something that's going to be pressed against the Department of Justice tomorrow.
So that's interesting. So you sound like you think there's a real chance that they might say, no, don't try to pull this with me. The judge might say that. And then what? Then they could go special prosecutor or something like that, right? That's what we were saying. What do you think? What do you think actually happens here, if you had to guess?
If I had to guess, I think if the judge actually rejects this indictment, they'll direct the U.S. Attorney's Office, don't take any action. We're not going to officially dismiss it. We're just not going to pursue it in any which way and move from there, and we'll see which way it goes. Because, again, to have somebody move forward with this, it just seems that's not going to be enough if the judge doesn't believe that this dismissal is not for some sort of political purpose. And I think they need more justice. They could go back to the judge and say, look, we looked at the case a little bit more. We looked at the evidence. We don't think there's enough of a charge here. But I don't think that's what you can really say right now. Look, I'm not saying that Eric Adams, he'll have an opportunity if this were to go forward. I'm not saying this is a slam dunk case against him.
No, he might have beat the rap to begin with, which isn't the point, though. But he might have.
Yeah. They showed their cards already. They gave their explanation. They blamed the former U.S. attorney, said that he engaged in too much pretrial publicity with this case, that there's political reasons. You can't, do a 180 and say, oh, we're trying to dismiss it because of the case itself and the evidence. It looks like they want to dismiss it for political purposes.
Thank you, my friend. We'll see what. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.